So now that I officially own both the PS5 and Xbox Series X consoles, I wanted to do a video explaining my thoughts on them and let you know which one I think is the better console. So if you're in the market for a new console and you're still on the fence on which one to get, or maybe you're just a parent and you just don't know which one is right for your kid, or you simply just want to know my thoughts, then you're in the right place. So let's get into it. So I just want to start off by saying that in this video, I will not be discussing the games very much, but let's go ahead and get this out of the way right now. When it comes to exclusive games, PS5 wins that hands down as of right now. This could and may very well change in the near future as Xbox finally has some big games coming to their platform later this year. But as of now and since launch, the PS5 has delivered some excellent exclusives, whereas Xbox really is not giving us anything exclusive. But like I said, that will all change as we have some big Xbox exclusives coming in just a few months, and we will see if Xbox can even the score in that department. Now for context, I just recently got my Series X, but I've had my PS5 since launch, so I have roughly 8 months with the PS5. So having the PS5 after all this time, I can tell you that the PS5 has two very good things going for it. And that is number one, the exclusive games, and number two, the SSD. The SSD in the PS5 is fast. I mean insanely fast. It makes loading in almost all games pretty much instant to where you don't even have time to see a loading screen. It's very impressive. But unfortunately for me, that is where I stop being impressed when it comes to the PS5 console. Now saying that, I do not regret getting a PS5 as they have had and will continue to have absolutely amazing exclusives. But I must admit, as a big fan of PlayStation, I'm a bit disappointed in the console itself. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I would say that the PS5 easily needed another year to be worked on before they released it half-baked in my opinion, compared to the Series X. I did not have that same feeling at all when it comes to the Series X. I'm extremely impressed with my Series X and did not quite expect to be this blown away by it, but let's get into what my issues are with the PS5 that has me feeling disappointed. First of all, we have the way the next gen upgrades are handled. For those of you who don't know, for most games that have upgraded versions for these new consoles, you can get a new Series X or PS5 version of that game for free, which is pretty awesome. But let me explain to you how these consoles handle that process. So for the Series X, all you have to do is nothing. That's right, you literally do nothing. The Series X has an amazing system called Smart Delivery, and it automatically downloads and updates your game as soon as the update is available for you, and it works flawlessly. It doesn't get any better than that. Now for the PS5, where do I start? All I can say is that it has been a complete joke for upgrading your games. You have to go and manually upgrade and download your games yourself, but if only it were that simple. Or if it just worked, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. The way the PS5 works is super confusing for some people to even see if they are downloading the PS5 version of the game or the old PS4 version. You have to go through several menus and whatnot, and also you have to manually go into the old game and upload your save data and then download that save data to the new game after you downloaded the game, and you have to do that all on your own. On the Series X, like I said, you literally just do nothing. And that includes your save data as well. The console takes care of that, and you're all good to go. But as convoluted as the PS5 upgrade process is, you must know that most of the time, it doesn't even work. So then you have to wait for the game developers and Sony to sort it all out. My next big issue with the PS5 is that there is no 1440p native support or VRR on the console, whereas the Xbox Series X support both of these on their console. Now a lot of the PlayStation fans will tell you it's not a big deal because only like 2% of gamers can use that stuff. But I would just tell you, first of all, yes, it is a big deal, and there are way more than 2% of gamers that can put that to use. Pretty much any gaming monitor will support VRR, and there are a lot of TVs that support VRR as well. Same goes for 1440p. I did not even realize until my Series X came in that my Samsung Q90 TV supports VRR, and that TV's been out for a couple of years now. So it's not just brand new TVs. Lots of Samsungs and LG TVs have had updates to support these features. But the thing is, the PS5 doesn't support any of these features that the Series X does. VRR is a big deal because if you are playing a game that is dropping frames, the VRR kicks in to smooth out those drop frames to eliminate any hitches you would normally experience. 1440p is very important because there are games, and will be a lot more games in the future, to where if you want to play in 120 frames mode, the game will have to lower the resolution and run the game in 1440p, which the PS5 doesn't have, or 1080p you'll have to drop down to. My next issue with the PS5 is something I don't hear many people talking about, and that is that there is no built-in LFG system on the console itself. The Xbox Series X has built-in LFG as well as clubs for every game on the Xbox, so you can easily make friends and chat in the clubs, and you can use the built-in LFG on the Series X to find people to play with right there on the spot. It's all built in and pretty easy to use. So if you want to use LFG and find someone to play a raid in Destiny with, for example, on the PS5, you would then have to leave the game and use your phone or your PC and go to an app or a website and find someone that way. And then you have to go through all the trouble and the horrible experience of getting them into your game. Now that leads me right into my next issue with the PS5, and that is the absolutely horrible UI rework, but more specifically the party system. If you want to invite someone to play with you, or even just send someone a message on the PS5, you have to do all of this through the party system, and it is terrible. You must go through convoluted menus just to get to it, and you have to then start a party with that person, and then you invite them and link up with them through the party menus on the PS5. It's just a terrible system, and it takes entirely too long. Also, FYI, anytime you're in a party and you're using voice chat on the PS5, you are being recorded by Sony. They announced this before the PS5 release because they offer players an option to report a player if they are harassing you or being inappropriate in a party chat. The next big issue is the PS5 controller. Now the haptic feedback on the controller is absolutely incredible. Props to Sony for that. My issues are the triggers and the battery life. Now we have 3 PS5 controllers here in my house, and all 3 of them have absolutely terrible battery life. That is even with turning down the haptic feedback and completely turning off the adaptive triggers. You will barely get about 4 hours of playtime before you have to charge them again. That is absolutely terrible, and I cannot believe they released a $500 console with such terrible battery life. Another issue I have with the PS5 is we are 8 months after release and you still cannot buy added storage for the console. We're still waiting on Sony to release it so we can buy added storage to store more games. And the PS5 doesn't even have as big a storage space as the Xbox has. So that's another issue I have. You can buy added storage on the Xbox and you just slide it in the back of the console and then you get 1 extra terabyte of storage space. But we still cannot even buy that 8 months after release on the PS5. The last issue I have for the PS5 is the fact that the PS5 currently only has 12 games that can run at 120 frames per second, whereas that Series X currently has 75 games that can run 120 frames per second. That is a massive difference. We're not just talking a few more games here. Now everyone may not care about that, but for me personally and for a lot of players, 120 frames per second games is a big deal and part of the next gen experience. So if you care about games having more frames per second and having a lot of those games to choose from, then you are not getting much of that at all on the PS5. This to me was one of the biggest disappointing things about the PS5. Just seeing the PS5 only having a few 120 FPS games and seeing the Xbox Series X just coming out left and right announcing more of them, along with the awesome E3 showing of Game Pass and everything they got coming in the future, that's what led to me buying a Series X. Also, the Series X has right at 90 older games that were enhanced with what they call FPS boost, which is where they increase the FPS in those games on the Series X. So when you factor in all of these things, as well as factor in how absolutely incredible Game Pass is, Xbox Series X is absolutely the better console, and it's not even close. It is more powerful, the value is unmatched with Game Pass, you have a console that is packed with features from day one, and everything just works how it's supposed to. I wasn't left feeling disappointed with the Series X like I was with the PS5. I really think the PS5 needed another year of development time before it released, but that's why I think the Series X is the superior console 8 months into this generation. So let me know in the comments, which console do you think is best and why? Is it the PS5 or the Series X? If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you guys have a great day.